importance of listening first and learning before choosing to respond. And it wasn't like, don't be seen, don't speak. It wasn't that way. It was that if you really want to be part of the conversation, you have to listen. Just listen. Don't listen to respond. Listen, learn. And then when you have something valuable to contribute, that is when people are going to notice you. And so I just felt like that lesson, I still do that, right? I mean, I still make sure that I'm listening, not to respond back so I sound smart or have something to say. I listen first because when I do speak, people do hear what I have to say. So that's another incredible lesson that I've learned.
It's nice that you mentioned listening and how important that is, because I think in today's day and age with social media, all the content that's out there, lots of people don't spend the time to really listen to at least the context or what's really, they read the headlines and
Yes.
they get sucked into the headline and goes, well, that must be true. And
Mhm.
they form this mindset of what's going on, and they have all these opinions, they have all these emotions, and they just blurt it all out without really understand what's there, without really listening.
Exactly.
With you in the agency of helping people with their advertising, with their marketing, well,
Yeah.
getting people to catch their eye and pay attention, but also wanting to send that message to them so that they actually understand is very, very
Correct.
difficult.
It
So
is.
how do you toe that line? Because you might overstep it and maybe insult people and maybe become canceled, but you want to be able to shock them enough to get them to pay attention. So how do
Yeah.
you play that card?
So you bring up something interesting. I'm actually glad you brought this up. So if you have fully defined who you're targeting, so you know exactly who you're targeting, you know what influences their purchase decisions, right? Or their engagement decisions, right? And this is all stuff we know because digital and analytics all provides us with this type of information. If we know that, you should never be creating content that offends anyone because you understand who you're trying to target. And so I think a lot of times when people get canceled or people, want to have a shocking message, they're losing sight of what their customers are actually looking for. And that shock value isn't really about your customer. It's about wanting to be cool and creative and do something that no one else has done. And maybe that worked 30 years ago, but in today's environment, as I'm sure you know, users are very specific about the types of things that they like to see online. And so, what I would tell you is if it feels like it might be wrong, it probably is, right? And remember that you don't have to come forward with such a big message, but if you are consistently executing messages that resonate with where they are in their life, whether they're looking for a home or maybe they're wanting to purchase a car or maybe they're looking for professional services for something, speak to them where they are and speak to them in a way that it's going to resonate with them and save all of the creative stuff for maybe some personal projects or projects that your agency wants to work on. Because I've seen a lot of that happen where they get so bought into a creative idea that they lose sight of how their customers are going to receive those messages.